Hi Josh, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Gilbert. Hope you've been well. Good to be back talking with you.
Yeah, it's good to reconnect in the New Year's. Maybe for some of the audience who have not heard about your story or just refreshing their memories, can you tell us a bit about your company background? What are your core focus now for Aytu BioPharma?
Yeah, happy to. Aytu BioPharma, of course, listed on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol of AYTU. We're a specialty pharmaceutical company focused specifically on commercialization, and our model is to in-license and acquire assets, and specifically pharmaceutical assets that are already through their R&D process and have largely been de-risked. And we focus specifically in central nervous system disorders, specifically in and around psychiatry. And we've got a portfolio of mature brands in ADHD. And most recently, and very excited to be now launching into the major depressive disorder or depression category with a product that we just launched literally a few weeks ago called EXXUA. And so that's our core focus, and that's really what we are excited about as we move forward into 2026.
Yeah, because just to talk more about the Azure, because last time when you presented our conference last year, boy, that's not your core, but now it's very exciting. You're launching. Just tell us a bit of the background about this, why you like it as part of your main business right now for the launch.
Yeah, we're really excited about the Exua opportunity. First and foremost, how it fits. It fits really well strategically with us in that it is a psychiatric drug, again, treating major depressive disorder, or more commonly referred to as just depression. And given the fact that we have a line of ADHD medications, we're already in the psychiatrist's offices through our direct sales force here in the United States. And so it's a perfect plug and play for us. It really fits exceptionally well into the portfolio, into our current plans, into the therapeutic areas and our on our call deck of physicians, and everything we saw about it just resonated with us in the context of how it fits with us, but more importantly, what it can do for patients and how it really, I think, can effectively compete in the depression category. And it's been really, really good to see the early successes, prescriptions from all over the country in just a short period of time. We literally just launched the product the day after the Martin Luther King holiday here in the US. And so that's really just about a month in. And even part of that month, you would say the country's been under snow, and so it hasn't even really been a fully functioning month. It's been probably 3 to 4 partial work weeks in terms of the ability to really get out and be in front of physicians and press the flesh, so to speak. So despite that, the uptake and the early reception has been exceptional, and so we're very excited about it.
Yeah, so what are some of the main sort of strategic priorities over the next 12 or 24 months in terms of how you scale Azure and try to grow this part of your business?
Yeah, really two key strategic imperatives for the company. Obviously, Exio is the first, but first I'll say around the base business, it's really to preserve the base revenue and the base business, that being largely our ADHD franchise and the revenues over the last 12 months for the base business, kind of our heritage products, has been north of $60 million. So the plan is to retain that revenue because that business, as it stands today, essentially breaks even and even really will cash flow given the fact that we're diverting resources and expenses away from the base business. So that's sort of priority number one, essentially protect the downside and preserve any erosion, just as we focus on Exua. But that Exua is the driver. Exua is absolutely what is going to transform the company. I'm more and more convicted and convinced of that every day as we're getting feedback from psychiatrists. And so that is number one on our list is to drive adoption of Exua in this gigantic category of over 340 million prescriptions of antidepressants here just in the US alone. And the opportunity for us to, even if we create a small niche for Exua, it's an absolute game-changing opportunity for us as a company. And that remains our single biggest focus. And everyone's out there firing on all cylinders. And as we say internally, Exua is all. It is the single biggest focus for the company, as it should be, given the unique properties and how we think it stacks up competitively in this gigantic opportunity that is the major depressive disorder market.
Yes, and of course, we all understand the mental health market is pretty competitive. So how do you differentiate A2, this Azure compared to some of your already in the existing in the market over there?
Yeah, as you pointed out, it's a very competitive market, but it's a very large market, and it's a market that remains substantially unsatisfied and really underserved. First I'll reiterate the category of just the U.S. Again, I can't emphasize enough, just the United States. Over 340 million prescriptions of antidepressants are written in the United States every single year, so it's gigantic. And most of those that are prescribed, most of the agents that psychiatrists and really all physicians prescribed are what's called SSRIs and SNRIs, and that stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. That again is essentially two-thirds of the market. And those products, while effective in many patients, carry problematic side effects. Most notably, they're known to cause, and in many cases, almost universally known to cause sexual side effects and weight gain. And that's a big problem for patients. Patients often discontinue treatment, seek treatment in other ways. But the reality is there are very few, if any, that truly can claim neither sexual dysfunction nor weight gain. And that's where EXXUA stands apart. EXXUA, because of its unique profile and the fact that it targets a specific receptor, one of the serotonin receptors, specifically the 1A receptor, by virtue of the fact that it only targets that receptor and not the other receptors, which are targeted by all of the SSRIs and SNRIs, because they are not selective, they're broadly selective and essentially bathe the brain in serotonin. Because of its selectivity, it does not cause weight gain, does not cause sexual side effects, and really stands apart from that perspective. And so we're able to offer a product in EXXUA that's been demonstrated to be effective. And now, for the first time, really in the history of this category, a product that truly causes zero sexual dysfunction and has weight gain that is essentially on par with placebo, which is to say it really doesn't cause weight gain. And there's a number of other aspects to the EXXUA story that really make it unique, but it really is the fact that it's selective and specific to this, again, the single 1A receptor, and the fact that these side effects and the profile of it in terms of what it doesn't deliver, again, no sexual side effects, no weight gain, really makes it distinct and stand out. And we're seeing it already in just the very first few weeks of promotion. Physicians, in fact, I just got off the phone with one. She found us and she was simply Googling and it's amazing to think that she simply Googled new antidepressants approved by the FDA and EXXUA came up. And she was very happy to take my phone call. And so I could talk her through the various aspects of it. And we have numerous examples of that all over the country. I don't mind telling you, we have prescriptions coming from virtually every state. I think we're over 40 states now already. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. We've only been on the market since the Martin Luther King holiday. In fact, the day after is when our sales force got into the field. And to think that we have prescriptions from places like Idaho and Washington State and Massachusetts and Minnesota. None of those states, by the way, do we have sales representatives in. So the word has already gotten out. Not to mention the territories that are filled and that places that we do have reps, of course, they're getting good reaction as well. So we think we can stand out. We already are standing out. It's just a matter of the time that it's going to take to really establish a good position in the market.
Yeah, that sounds really obvious advantage over the others if you can have eliminate those side effects that you talk about.
Yeah, it really it's unlike anything else that's really come before. It's the first and only what's called 5-HT1A receptor agonist. And so by definition, there's just nothing else like it and it does stand apart. And we think these are obvious points that physicians are very quickly coming to. It's just a matter of the time that it takes them to change their habits and to get used to prescribing a new medication, but that's what we're out there doing every single day.
So my next question for you about your valuation, your stock price there. So what will be you think your main driver of your valuation potential growth increase in the next couple of years?
Yeah, again, for us, our single biggest focus is growing EXXUA. And this is a product opportunity that frankly represents multifold more in terms of what it can do from a revenue perspective. If we are not doing multiples more from our current base revenue, in a couple of years' time, we will be frankly wildly disappointed and shocked just because the opportunity is so distinct and the product is so unique and the opportunity in the market is so big and the gaping needs are just that, they're gaping. And so over the next couple of years, we fully expect this product to be a substantial seller. And again, if we didn't deliver many multiples, and I don't want to guide to what we think it can be, but if we simply did a multiple of our current revenue. That's over $100 million in net sales for a single product. That more than triples our base revenue. And that puts us in a position from a valuation perspective to now be looking at a company that's multifold more in terms of its share price and in terms of its overall valuation. If we simply did from a unit perspective what we do with our ADHD medications, we generated about 400,000 prescriptions for our ADHD medications over the last, call it 12 months. To do the same number of units, which is frankly not a huge number in the scheme of things. We're talking hundreds of thousands of units, not even millions. But if we just did 400,000 at the price point we anticipate this product will net from a monthly and sort of lifetime value of a customer or a patient perspective, that's a 200 million plus revenue run rate annually. That's you add that into our base business of call it $60 million, you're talking a $260 million revenue run rate. That's probably a billion dollar enterprise value without, frankly, a lot of creativity and without even really ascribing a huge multiple on revenue. So it's a huge opportunity, particularly for investors as you think about where the company is today versus what it could be just a couple of years from now, and maybe not even 2 full years from now.
Yeah, let's conclude this by taking us a bit of a longer term vision here for your company, Josh. Let's say you talk about all this growth, and so are you trying to build this company, increase your obviously with new businesses, of course, the growth in revenue to a certain size? Are you trying to look for other opportunities along the way to become bigger, or also you also try to build that base and become somebody bigger pharmaceutical company can come and try to take you out?
Well, we've built and exited companies before, and frankly, I've always sort of believed that you don't ever build a company to sell it. You build a company to build a good company. And for us, the immediate objective that will build us to the long term is let's get this thing to cash flow. And we will do that. We fully expect to be able to do that in the relative near term on the backs of EXXUA, because again, the opportunity is so pronounced and the market is so big and the need again is so gaping. So step one, get the company to cash flow such that we can reinvest in the business to further catalyze growth of EXXUA, expand out into all 50 states, and really penetrate the market even more so. That cash flow will in turn enable us, and that growth will enable us to go out and seek additional assets that we can tuck in and take advantage of our infrastructure, our sales force that's obviously in the field every day calling on psychiatrists. And that will enable us obviously to diversify our revenue base, build further, and continue to build a solid company. And really, as the outer years approach, we'll be thinking more and more about internal development to develop our own pipeline to really start to develop a full capability and become a fully integrated pharmaceutical company that, of course, has the commercial front end, but is supported now by some level of internal R&D. But it all gets started with cash flow. If we can get this company profitable consistently, and we had multiple profitable quarters, as you can see from our recent filings, we're going to dip a little bit here in the near term as we're investing in this product launch. And by the way, we have plenty of cash on the balance sheet, having just posted $30 million in cash in our last Q. And so we have the ability to fund growth, but we equally desire in the very near term to get back to generating cash flow such that we can build this company into a thriving CNS-focused specialty pharmaceutical company with a broad base of portfolio focused in and around psychiatry and other CNS areas, and then ultimately building out a pipeline. And that's all going to happen on the backs of this product that is absolutely second to none in terms of its potential. And that's of course.
Yeah, so that sounds really good, like a very sound business strategy moving forward. So we're really looking forward to some of your news and how it progresses since you launched your Azure this product, okay, for throughout the year. So I'm really glad that you come here sharing your update with us here today, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Gilbert. Great to be back with you and really always enjoy our conversations and look forward to hopefully participating with you all here in the year and wish you well. I wish the listeners all well. And yeah, ask people just to follow along because it's going to be an exciting year and one that we think will be very, very transformative for the company. So thanks for letting me share the story and thanks for the time.
Yes, so I'll speak to you soon. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Gilbert. Take care.
Yes.